Hello guys, welcome back to another CodeHub tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be covering the reply section of the forum. So in this tutorial, when somebody clicks on this post that they want to see and they want to leave a comment, if you remember, we have created a route where you go question and then the slug, and then there you will see the post of the user and all the replies associated with it, and as well later on we will add a text box here or a form where they can leave a reply. But in this tutorial we want to go ahead and populate these replies and the post. So we're going to install this plugin called Sluggable for Laravel, where we can use it to create slugs for our posts, basically, which will make our URLs more readable and will help us complete this. So before we start, we're gonna ahead and install this plugin using Composer, and I will basically put this link to this Git repo in the description of the video, so you guys don't have to worry about that. So to install this is simple. Once you navigate here in Git, follow the installation instructions. Just run the command using Composer. So I'm gonna run it here with you guys. I'm gonna copy that and I'm gonna paste it here and I'm gonna run it. So while this is installing, let me go over and what that will do. So basically, Sluggable, when we create a post, we provide a title, and then we will tell this plugin to take the title and create a slug. So what it will do is basically, let's say the title is how to code in PHP. Once somebody creates that post and then hits save or in our database, this will create a slug called how to code in PHP. So you'll put dashes like this, and what it is a unique identifier which identifies that particular post. Let's say we have two posts with the same name, then that will take care of that. So in the second, when it creates the second post, it will see that we do have one already, and that will not be able to be stored in the database because it will break the unique key constraint. So what it will do, you put the same title, so it would say something like how to code in PHP, and then it will have a -1, -2, and so on, in order to make that unique. And what does this do? When a user, let's say, goes to codehub.com, then this URL is much more readable. It makes our URLs readable, and basically, so you would say, okay, so codehub.com/question, and then the name of the question, which is how to code in PHP, instead of having, let's say, IDs like question 1, question 2, question 3, and so on. So instead of having numbers, it makes the URLs more readable and easier to understand for our end users. So let's say here, so now it's still updating this and installing our plugins, but let's go ahead and here and go into our next step. So the next step in here is we need to update the providers class in our app.php file. So to do that, go ahead and go to our config folder here, app.php, and under the providers array, we're gonna add this new provider. So if you see here, providers, and add this new provider and save that. Let's close this. So now that we have the new provider here, let's go to our next step, and we need to publish this by simply running this command. Copy that, and let's go ahead and we need to run this command. Okay, so now that it's generating the class loader. Once that is completed, we need to run that command. But since that is still running, let's go ahead and go to the models, as we need to make some changes there as well. So open the models, go to the reply model, and once you open that, once mine loads, it's running slightly slow today. But in here, what we need to do is we need to tell it to use Sluggable. So to do that, let me see if this finished actually. Okay, so it's still generating. So if you scroll a little lower here, when you will see that we will need to include this Sluggable library that we just installed. So inside your model, make sure you type use Sluggable here. Let me hit a Control-Z there. I think I pasted it too many times. And let me go down here and paste that. Okay, so now that we included this, what we need to do is we need to type use sluggable. It's running a little slow. Okay, so now that we've used sluggable, one last thing we need to do here is we need to include this function, and I will explain to you in a second why this is important and we need to use it. So let me go ahead and paste it in our model here. Okay, so what this will do is basically we'll tell it where to create the slug from. So we're telling it the source, in our case as well, will be title. So we will tell it, take the title of the post and create a slug. Okay, and what we've done here is very incorrect, as this is my mistake. So let me go ahead and copy all of this stuff again. The reason is this should not be in the reply, it should actually be in the post, because the slug, it's for the post and not the reply. So make sure you go ahead and correct that, and instead of in the reply model, make sure you paste this inside the post model. And the same thing for the use here, make sure we remove this as well, paste that inside the post here. And one last thing, we need to remove this use sluggable here, as we have no reference to anything. And paste that inside the post here model. Okay, so now we have this all set up. Make sure, go back here and make sure go ahead and run this publish command to publish the plugin. So I'm gonna paste that command simply and run that. Okay, so now that we've done all this work, we need to, last thing, we need to update the reply model actually. So I'm going to copy this user function, and I will explain to you in a second why, and I'm going to go inside the reply model and I'm going to paste that user as well. The reason is because let's say somebody goes to the reply here, right, and leaves a comment. So when we want to get all the replies, we also want to get all the users associated with the reply itself. So to do that, we need to have a user ID associated as a foreign key. So if you want to pick up a reply, and this way we can make the relationship between the reply and the user table. So if you want to get the username and the user's full name to print out here, we can do that. Okay, so now that we have done all that and we have run the publish command, we need to update our migrations to include the slug and also the new user key. So I'm going to go in the post table here and I'm going to run this, going to add a new column called slug, and this will have to be a unique ID. So and close that, and I will copy this user as a foreign key from this table, from the post table, and I need to include this as well in here in the replies table. Okay, so now that we have done all this stuff, we need to update the PHP myadmin. So I'm gonna go in here and run PHP artisan migrate rollback. So we will need to basically deploy the new the new columns, so we can take advantage of that. And now that we've done this, let's run PHP artisan migrate, and this should help us see the new columns there. Okay, so I'm gonna go to our database here. I'm gonna make this a little bigger and go to replies and structure here, and I will see that we do have a user ID, and also we have the slug for our post here. Let me go back to our post table and see the structure for that, and also we have a slug here. Okay, so this is all fine now. Next thing we need to do, I'm going to go to our categories table here, and I'm going to insert some categories so we can create a new post. So I'm going to say here PHP and maybe C++, and I'm going to run that command. And we do have categories now. Okay, so now that we have all these, go back to our page. Here we will be able to see no post anymore because there's no post available. So I'm gonna go ahead and register here very quickly. So I'm gonna create a user called John Smith, jsmith@gmail.com, and I'm gonna register. And I'm also gonna create another user. So I'm gonna log out, and I'm gonna go ahead and create register. I'm gonna register, and I'm gonna create another user called Bob Smith, bsmith@gmail.com, and I'm gonna type password as the password. Okay, and now that I've created that post, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create a question here. So I'm gonna type, can someone help me with PHP? Category will be PHP, and I need help. And I'm gonna post that. And now we're able to see our post here. Okay, so now go to our home page, and I'm gonna make this link as a link, the title, so when they click they could go ahead and redirect it to the post and replies page. So to do that, in here what I would do is I will create a link. So I'll put an anchor tag, and I'm gonna say href http, and then from http I will go to http localhost/codehub/public/question, and then after the question, post slug. Okay, so now that we have the slug as well as the post, we can refresh this, and you can hit enter, and you will be able to see here that, okay, so everything is linkable. The reason is that is happening is because I forgot to add the anchor tag after here. Now that we did, let's refresh the page, and we can see by clicking on the title we will be redirected to the new page with the slug, can someone help me with PHP? So now that we have done the code, that a lot of work, when we go here on this page, we actually need to find the slug and the replies for that particular slug. Alright, so first of all, before we begin that, since we're going to be using a TryCatch block in this tutorial, we need to go ahead and include a library here. So Illuminate, we're going to include the Illuminate database eloquent. So database eloquent model not found exception. All right, and then let's go ahead and go down here. So what we will do in here, simple, let's go ahead and type try and catch. And once we've done this, in here we're going to say exception. So in here we're going to type model not found exception. And what we're going to simply do is, let's say somebody tries to manually type the URL and misspells a slug or something, and we cannot find that. We're just going to simply redirect them back to the home page. So I'm going to say redirect, and redirect back home. Inside the try here, what we need to do is we need to find the post with that slug. So I'm going to store that in a variable called post. So what I'm going to do is post where slug, and I'm going to say where the slug equals the slug that is inputted. So where that equals, I'm going to grab the first result, since there only needs to be one result in this case. And once we get that, we're going to return the view. So I will copy that, paste it inside of here, and I'm going to say compact, and I'm going to return the post. Okay, so this basically what it does is finds the post with this slug and then returns it back to the view with the post. So let me go ahead and refresh this and make sure that it still works. We don't get any errors. And click on the URL. We're still here, so that we have everything now. Now the next thing is we need to populate this with the correct data, right? So let me go ahead and go back to our pages, home, and I'm just gonna copy this for else here. I'm gonna paste it right here because we could have one or many replies for each post. So we will use this loop to loop around them and populate all the replies one by one. Okay, so let me go ahead and indent that and make sure you close the loop down here. So I'll copy this as well. Okay, and paste it there. Alright, and just change the message around here. So I'm gonna say if there are no replies, I'm gonna say something like be the first and to reply, or you guys can type your own custom message there. Alright, so first thing here is let's go ahead and we need to populate the post title. So since we're passing back a post variable, all we have to do is post title, and the title will be printed out. Since we have a post here, I will just say post, and then we have a name for the user, so I'm gonna say user and name. So what we're doing is we're telling it, since we have a foreign key from the user ID in our post table, I can say in the post give me the name of the user that posted this post, or let's say they uploaded this post, and next print out the body. So we'll do post body, and the last thing is we need what I'll do is I'll go back here to home and diff, so we can print out this time here. So I'll copy this guy and paste it there. Alright, let me paste that here. Alright, so that's done. Next thing here is what we'll do is I'm going to type post replies, and if we go back to our post model here and we go to models post and scroll down, we need this function. We need to create this relationship between the posts and the replies. So I create this function called public function replies, and create a relationship of one to many, so a post can have many replies, so you need to type has many, and this will give us, when we do here post replies, we're telling it to give us all the replies to the post that we just retrieved from the database. And I'm going to type here reply. Okay, so first thing is, since we don't need a title for the reply, we just need a body, we can type reply and get the body of the reply. Before that is, let's go ahead and print the name of the user as well. Since we added that foreign key to the user ID in the reply table, we can also retrieve the user's name, and that we can simply, instead of post here, we just type reply and get the reply, the user that left the reply. And the same thing here with the timestamp. So let's go ahead and grab the timestamp and paste it down here, but instead of post here, point to get the reply. Alright, so let's go ahead and refresh this. What we should be getting here is basically nothing, because we should be the first one to leave a reply. So that's what we get, because we have no replies left for this, and we get the correct data populated. Alright, so since we don't have the form here to leave a reply, let's go to our database and manually insert some replies. And let's say that the user that had this post was actually Bob Smith, and that was user 2. So user 1 was James Smith. So I'm gonna go here and go to our replies table, and I'm gonna click on insert, And remember, we will create a form for this, so this will be manually edited later. And I'm gonna type by user 1 because this is James Smith, and I'm gonna say for post 1, which was posted about Smith, and I can say I can help you with PHP. And then what I'm gonna do is down here is I'm gonna click user 2 for the second reply. This is being Bob Smith, and I'm gonna say to the same post, which is Bob Smith, post 1, and I'm basically, this will be a reply to this reply by John. So I'm gonna say thank you, John, and I'm gonna insert those. So click go, browse. Okay, and in this case, if we just refresh, we see the 2 replies being populated. The reason you see here this many years ago is because we did not select a date for the reply here. We put 000, but if you select the correct date, and when you have the form, that date will automatically be populated, you should see the correct date down here. But as you can see here, this was left by John Smith and then by Bob. So we have the logic here now. We completed the logic for the replies. So that works, guys. And the next step, since we put the URL here, once we click on the post, the next step will be to have a form where somebody can leave a reply to this post particularly. So thank you for watching this tutorial, guys, and please leave suggestions, or if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, and there will be another tutorial up very soon where we will create the form where we leave and store the replies in the database. Thank you for watching, guys.